everyone, and welcome to Team Amasian, aka Kaori and Anne's Wrestling Podcast.
Yay!
Yes, we still don't have a name, but that's okay. We're still doing this, and I think Wrestling Podcast is the name.
I think that's the name.
Right?
I feel like it just feels right.
It's so simple that it might actually be quite clever.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
Sometimes you just have to step back, go back to basics. Don't need any of those crazy taglines or title. Yeah, I'm good with Wrestling Podcast.
I'm good with it too. I mean, definitely open for suggestions, but we're simple ladies and we're cool with however we want to roll. Anyways, we've got tons of topics for you today. We're kind of glad that we actually had to push back a little bit because a lot more news came in between yesterday and today that we're definitely going to start talking about it. First things first, let's talk about Becky Lynch, who had to give up her title to Asuka because she is now pregnant and expecting her first child with Seth Rollins.
Well, congratulations first. That's always exciting news.
Yeah, I watched the segment. I didn't watch Raw, but Anne did, so she can definitely talk about that in an instant. But it was good, and I'm so happy that Asuka has a title now. I'm glad that she won the Money in the Bank for the title.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit more about Money in the Bank later, but it just very surprising. I think for the circumstances and the way they can make that announcement, it was well done.
Yeah.
The handoff to Asuka was really sweet. And I think Asuka, her reaction to just anything, I honestly will watch that lady just like, I don't know, sit there and like type on the computer if I want to.
I mean, she has so much energy. Who needs an audience when you have Asuka? I'm not even kidding. And her running around the ring, onto the announcing table, and just so excited.
Yep.
You really, even though you know that she's embellishing it, you really believe she's really happy about it. And she probably is.
Yeah.
You know, for a long time, she was undefeated.
Right.
And she won the Royal Rumble a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. So she's a really strong person to have this championship. And I hope she retains it for a long time.
No, I agree. And I think you've brought it up on a number of these podcasts saying, you know, she was at the top.
Yes.
And then what happened? And it almost seemed like maybe WWE didn't know how to handle storylines. She got looped into a tag team. And then just to see her back on top, women's champ, she didn't even have to compete for the title.
Yeah.
But to be honest, if she did, I think she would have won.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I thought they gave her the Money in the Bank possibly, unless they already knew, because she would eventually go in, cash in, and win that championship.
Yeah. So this was coming, I think, down the pipeline. I think you and I have said that Becky's storyline has become stale due to lack of competition or just kind of the same old thing with the man. Mm-hmm. Really happy for her in her personal life. And I think this will also help shake up the storylines for the women's title.
Yeah, absolutely. So congrats. That was wonderful news on Raw.
Yeah.
And do you want to talk about some of the highlights that you saw on the show?
Yeah, I think, again, much of the same. And I know we say this week in and week out that Raw is kind of stuck in this, they only have so much in their talent pool that they can choose from. So it feels like we see the same matches week by week. Gosh, I don't even know what they're calling their group, but it's the one with, now I don't even know any of their names, but
okay,
the ballet that we were talking about where she wears really, really skimpy clothes. What's that group's name?
Zelina.
Yeah,
Zelina Vega.
Zelina and the boys. I don't know what the actual official term for their team is called, but
the Latinos. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
how WWE does it.
Yeah, they always pair race with race. So that group again. God, and I'm sorry, I'm not as well prepared, but they were like the first and the last match of Raw again.
That's again? Oh, dear. Yeah.
And I don't know how many times Drew McIntyre has to defend his title against somebody from their group because that just keeps happening week in, week out. And Drew won again. So that was like no surprise. I'm like, this guy's going to get squashed because Drew is like twice his size. Lashley, they continue to push on Raw.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Are you digging that?
No, I'm not digging it. It just feels like, what is it? Straight line where I'm like, there's no excitement there.
Yeah, it is. And they're trying to pair him up. God. And I really should have pulled up the Raw notes, but they're trying to pair him up with somebody, I think, outside of just having his valet, just to make it feel maybe to just give it more commentary or more personality, because I feel like Lashley on his own, yes, I get that he's a powerhouse, but there's just not much more than that to me.
Right. A lot of times powerhouses are good at being powerhouses, but they do need a mouthpiece to assist them or some kind of powerful sidekick.
Yes.
So maybe he might be a victim of that.
Yeah. So he won. We had Angel Garza defeat Tozawa. That was actually a pretty good match.
Love Tozawa though.
Yeah.
I'm kind of upset to hear that Tozawa lost.
Yeah, I know. But again, it's like that group is dominating right now.
Yeah, of course.
Group.
Of course.
So Drew McIntyre defeated Andrade, like I mentioned. That match was actually pretty good. But again, it's just one of those, like, there's no way they're going to have Drew lose on a Raw.
Well, I saw that, I could be wrong, but Peyton Royce and Billie Kay came back, Iconics.
Yep.
Or Iconics.
Yes, they did.
Iconics.
And so they came in during Alexa Bliss's show, Moment of Bliss.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So clearly there's going to be a storyline between them. Iconics and Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss actually did go into a fight. Yeah. So the match was not great, to be honest.
I like how I call them the Iconics because I was stuck in the 90s hip-hop rap era.
Yeah.
Because everything was ill back then.
Just as a side note, I don't know why I picked up on this last night, but one of the Iconics looks like Jan from The Office to me.
Which one?
It's the blonde. I don't know.
She used to be a brunette.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Peyton Royce.
Look at her face next time and tell me if she... Anyway, I was like, she looks like Jan from The Office.
I think the other one looks a little, like it's got that Bella Twin makeup.
Yep.
Like the really too much makeup.
Yes, you're right. Right. Then we had Rollins who fought interrupted Mysterio. So I think they're going to try to, like... Mysterio was like congratulating Becky, like, congrats, you're going to have a baby or whatever. And then Rollins kind of came in and interrupted that. This match was actually pretty good. So it was R-Truth, Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, who defeated Shane Thorne, Brendan Vink via pinfall. That one was pretty good. I like this kind of pairing of like Ricochet, Cedric, and R-Truth. I think that just makes sense. I don't know. Style-wise.
Well, speaking of, you mentioned Rey Mysterio, and that was one of our topics, that he is still signed into WWE, and he's going to be there for quite some time.
Thank goodness, right?
Yeah. I mean, the kids love him.
Yeah.
And he is a unique asset to the WWE. He's a unique high flyer, different character, like he's kind of fun to watch. It's not always like I get excited whenever he's in a match, but it's good to have him there.
Yeah. I think at this point he's built his reputation enough that even the average casual wrestling fan knows who Rey Mysterio is.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
So you think it was a good move too?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
And then during this time where, COVID and everything related, that they're having to do mass layoffs and things like that, it's nice to see some of the talent get picked up again.
Sure. Of course.
Yeah.
We need them.
Yeah.
We need you guys to come back.
I know.
So yeah, what else happened on Raw?
Natalia confronted Shayna. The actual match was okay. A commentary between them is not great.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can't imagine Shayna effectively commentary.
She's not great.
No.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks that.
Yeah, I didn't have to watch that, and I was like, yeah, I kind of remember how it's a little rough.
Yeah, it is. She needs some work. Jinder Mahal made an appearance again. No match yet, but he's definitely making his appearances known after being injured for so long, right?
Yeah,
10 months
welcome
or something
back.
like that.
Uh-huh.
And then we've got this like weird basketball game between Street Profits and Viking Raiders.
What the hell? Really?
Yeah, and this is the whole like WWE trying to do more cinematic kind of comedic like
the basketball game? I don't know how it pans out, but it just sounds pretty funny to me. For someone who didn't watch Raw.
So silly. What I will say, I think the highlight is Edge and Randy Orton, right? Like Randy came in, he was like, I'm sorry. He was trying to apologize, and then he was like, actually, I'm not.
Of course. Of course.
So I think that feud is not done yet. Edge didn't respond.
I love how that's how they made it not done was, I'm sorry, just kidding, I'm not sorry, let's start this up again. I just love it.
He was like, at WrestleMania, the better man won. Then he left, and then he like stopped, and then he turned around and he's like, it is true, the better man won at WrestleMania, but the better wrestler didn't.
Okay.
So he kind of left it at that. To obviously, they're going to have another match, I think.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
All right. And you also told me that apparently WWE has a special talking about Undertaker, and you loved the part 1, right?
Yes. So if you guys haven't had a chance to watch The Last Ride, appropriately titled, I think, it follows The Undertaker from 2017 to 2020. And they had the cameras rolling. For those that are familiar with Mark Calloway, I guess he's not very big on doing press or being in front of camera. So the fact that he signed on to even do the documentary is a big deal.
Also, that's a long ass last ride.
It's a long time. and without giving too much away, the first episode really focuses on what I believe he thought was the end of his career.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. You would think the entire thing spans from like he thinks it's ending and everything leading up to that WrestleMania he thought was his last match against Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
But that's actually just episode 1.
Oh, interesting.
So then I think we're going to get a little more details as to, because they do show it in the preview, why he decided to come back. So it might answer a lot of questions of like every year. We talk about this every podcast too. Every year, Undertaker says, I'm done. Why does that keep happening? Maybe this will give us a little bit more context to why he chooses to come back.
Yeah, I was watching a documentary actually this past weekend. It was made in 1999. I forgot the name of the documentary, but it kind of followed a little bit about Jake the Snake, Mick Foley, and another big wrestler. I can't remember his name, but he was he wrestled Mick Foley a lot during that time. And he quit, but he had to come back even though he lost he pretty much needed surgery for his kneecap. And, yeah, I forgot his name.
Terry Funk?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Terry Funk. Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, it's so crazy because his family was like, you got to stop. He's like, I'm retiring. They made this huge announcement that he's retiring. 3 months later, they come back. I think there's an addiction to it.
Yes.
Right.
And that's a fantastic point. You clearly see that in episode 1 of The Last Ride.
I mean, you see that with Mick Foley as well. Like he was like just really hurting himself. And, he had that WrestleMania, I think it was a WrestleMania match. Or was it with Undertaker?
Oh, yeah.
That big one.
Yeah, Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. Mankind. And, it just is surreal. I get it that you worked all your life to make it this big.
Yep.
And there's probably some adrenaline coming when you're hurt, but it's what makes you go. And then when you're done, you miss it.
Yeah. It's kind of the perfect scenario for WWE, especially Vince, where he wants to cultivate like a person that will be loyal to the company. And these people that continue to say they're retiring and come back, one consistent theme that we're seeing, like you're calling out, is they feel like there's something to prove. There's an addiction.
Yes,
and I love that word that you use, because I think there really is an addiction, even after countless injuries and things like that. And in my opinion, that's exactly what Vince wants, whether he's trying to manipulate that or not. Those are the types of people he wants at the company, because those people will be loyal when he needs something and he calls them and it says, okay, you come out of retirement. They're like, yes, sir, I'm there. Like, that's the tight ship. That's the business that I think Vince wants to run. And there's only a handful of those guys that you can say like have always been continuously loyal to the company and to Vince McMahon.
Right.
And I think those are 2 perfect examples.
Yeah. And just a side note, that watching that documentary and seeing Vince McMahon being young and talking normally, it was kind of weird. It was made you kind of realize like, wow, Vince is really like, he's the same, but he's also a little like old now,
No, it's definitely a significant difference, especially when we talk about Money in the Bank. Vince has been making appearances like for the last few tapings. And it just some of the speech is just very slurred at this point.
Right. You're just like, wow, maybe he has an addiction. Well, clearly. He has probably a lot of stress on his hands. He's
absolutely
running this company. All right. Okay, let's move on to a couple other topics. Speaking of Vince McMahon, reportedly, he is probably requesting shorter pay-per-view events because Money in the Bank did not go so long. It ran for a total of 3 hours and 24 minutes, which included the 1 hour kickoff pre-show, which is crazy, right? It's making it the shortest WWE main roster pay-per-view in 30 years, not counting the in your house specials. So because of that, and because of the success of that, and the people's response to it, he's considering probably shortening pay-per-views. I think we've been talking about that forever. Yes. I mean, with a 3-hour Raw, we don't need long pay-per-views.
Yep.
We just don't need it. Yeah, so I mean, the shorter Money in the Bank had praise from fans on social media, and people are just saying this should be the new normal for the future. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off. I think before I even saw you sent that article, that was going to be my first point when we talked about Money in the Bank.
Okay.
Is that whether or not, I didn't even look up the runtime of it, but whether or not I looked up the time, I felt that it was the right amount of time. The pace was correct. The matches weren't running too long. Mm-hmm. I think I'm with the fans to say, yes, everything needs to be shorter. Make it shorter, make it more valuable, make it, more
valuable.
Yeah, like use your time efficiently. I think you don't need to stretch time. That doesn't equal quality and content. I think Money in the Bank was a great example of shortening it doesn't necessarily mean that you're putting out less valuable content.
You definitely need quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that had to happen that way, because maybe we'll have more of our Sundays once a month back, or twice a month now.
Yeah,
however,
because now it's like you have to set aside half your entire day. It starts at 3:00 watching pre-show, then pre-show, then... Yeah, it's just too long.
Yeah. And it makes us more attentive, so we're more in tune with what is happening rather than tuning out during a long ass show.
Yeah,
so that's a great idea. Hopefully it sticks. Mm-hmm. And then there's a small little news tidbit that I decided to post up. So there's a former WWE star, Sami Callihan. He works in Impact Wrestling now. Mm-hmm. He worked in NXT for briefly, and he kind of criticized, there's a hacker storyline in WWE.
There is.
And he kind of criticized it, saying that he's the hot shot when it comes to that. And I thought it was kind of funny that he threw it back to them. Yeah. He's actually a nice guy. I met him once. I interviewed him once. He seemed like a cool guy. It's funny when I say that, because obviously every person you're going to meet, save a few, will be nice when you interview them. But anyway, so I thought that was kind of funny that he's currently not in the WWE. He's in Impact Wrestling, and he's kind of making jokes that he's the inaugural hacker or whatever the case. What did you think of this whole thing?
I think it's interesting. I think I also read an article that people, and it's all fan speculation, like, oh, is it Sami?
Right? Wouldn't that be great?
Is it him behind this? So I think it's great that he's poking fun at it, because and everyone keeps speculating who it could be. I saw some articles. I'm not familiar with any of the guys that they're calling out that this person is. I don't know if you have a guess at who it is.
Mustafa Ali. He's a great wrestler.
Yeah.
And then someone else. I forgot his name. He reminds me of Bobby Lashley, but not. God, I forgot his name. See, I'm bad with names.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, me too.
See,
there's a guy that was just had a gimmick, and I was like, who is this guy? And that he was mentioned as that gimmick didn't work very well, so we're thinking of changing it.
Yeah, I think that's him. Okay, let me look him up real quick.
Oh my gosh!
Gable, Chad Gable.
There it is.
There we go. There we go.
Starts with a G. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, hacker thing is pretty funny. And that leads us to the Money in the Bank recap. I'm going to be completely transparent. I didn't have a chance, that being said, about it being shorter, to fully watch it. So Anne is going to highlight what some of her favorite. I'm going to go down the line with the matches, and you can tell me yes, no, just, your opinions.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll start. Did you watch the kickoff between Jeff Hardy and Cesaro?
I did not, but I saw who won.
Yeah, of course, your boy Hardy won.
They're not going to have him lose.
I know. It just sucks because I have like an affinity for Cesaro, and I always want him to get that push.
Yeah.
But he's also at a place where when he loses, it doesn't harm him. He's like an elite mid-carder. Yeah. He's just there. He's there with Sheamus and him, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, sometimes better than that, but they're just always in that spot.
Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate.
It's weird, yeah. But at least it doesn't hurt them.
Right.
It just frustrates us, the viewers. Okay, we have SmackDown Tag Team Championship. This felt, I would imagine, pretty similar to other past matches. New Day versus Miz and John Morrison versus Forgotten Sons, and then the Lucha House Party.
Yeah, I think what I would call out on this match is I am liking more and more the Lucha House Party. They're really good wrestlers. I think they add extra entertainment value when it comes to just their style. Just helps kind of speed things up, and there's a lot of high flying. I think they had some of the better moves of the match. I hope we finally have a definitive tag team champion because you and I have been saying like week by week, isn't it the same thing over and over again?
Over and over again. Yeah. What are you going to do, I guess?
And I guess we won't, and I think we talked about this last week, we won't see the Usos back for a while because half of them is injured as well. So
Right. Well, that gives the Lucha House Party
they have to move
step up.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to have to move some tag team up, but maybe it's going to be them. We'll see.
And we got Miz and Morrison too. I think they're a great tag team, but it's funny that they're very similar in character.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's a good thing that, well, obviously that's what they do, to team up very similar people, or do they want really different people? It just kind of, when you think about what the carbon copy of a tag team looks like in WWE, they're all the same.
Yeah, they are.
Together.
They are.
With some exceptions, but it's just kind of like, why don't they, team up, I don't know, Bobby Lashley with Braun Strowman. I don't know, just like something completely random.
Yeah.
It's just funny. Okay, next we have R-Truth versus, speaking of, Bobby Lashley.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I was like, wow, R-Truth, huh? Where'd he come from?
It was meh, I would say. I'm not impressed with Lashley's matches, to be honest. Just in general. And we talked about Raw before we talked about Money in the Bank, but it's kind of a carryover of how I felt about his match on Raw. Just nothing there, really.
Was it a squash? What did it go for?
No, I think R-Truth was actually stood up to him better one-on-one.
Okay.
But it was so quick. There was really nothing to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. I kind of remember watching this part with you, the SmackDown Women's Championship, Bayley versus Tamina.
Yep.
As soon as they're in, and you're just, okay, like what's the point of this match? There's no build up. This is just the carbon most generic.
Yep.
Like, you're gonna bring Tamina out of nowhere and have her be a number one contender. What's going on here?
I know. I don't know. I think the response is I don't know. And so when she came out, you're like, she's not going to win.
No, she's not going to win. You have to have a better build-up for her.
And there was also really no drama between Sasha and Bayley, which we were kind of predicting might happen, is that they're going to try to cause a rift and have them start to fight each other. But no, nothing.
I don't
Sasha
understand
looked
that.
fine. She looked flawless again.
Yeah.
Bayley looks the same. Match was bleh.
I just don't understand why they continuously bring Bayley and Sasha together and then have them hate each other, bring them together, have them hate each other. And when is Bayley going to get the repercussions of having Sasha Banks be her bodyguard in a way?
Yeah, still nothing.
Still nothing, but also her being her bodyguard is like against Tamina. So come on, like, and then Tamina beats Sasha Banks but can't beat Bayley, like,
Yep.
Like, you got to throw like Nia and Tamina in together, something like that.
Yes.
How to put those two as tag team championships?
Oh my
God. What? It wouldn't be believable for anyone
imagine? Oh my God, nobody would beat them.
No one could beat them. They can do an intergender match and no one could beat them.
Yep.
Okay, the next one we had that Universal Championship up for grabs with Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt. Okay, so this surprised me based on reading this because I kind of thought Bray Wyatt would win, but not clean, but I thought he would win. But he didn't.
Yeah, I think the way that they presented the win made sense, right? I think Bray thought he was getting his way with Braun, and then he thinks that Braun is coming to terms with, come back to the Wyatt family or whatever. And then Braun totally flips the switch and is like, no, actually, and squashes the mask. And it was just silly. I think it could have been better. I think the ending could have been more definitive than Bray just like, being so gullible.
Okay.
That Braun was actually going to flip and, turned back. Yeah. It could have been better, I think.
All
overall.
right. Okay. And then we have the championship, the WWE championship. Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins.
Oh, yeah.
And my boy won. Your boy
I know.
lost.
I think he's like losing. He's on a losing streak right now. But
I think that he's got to go bye-bye for a while, right? At some point.
yes. I think we all know that paternity leave is going to happen at some point.
I think now it's like, no more hookah.
Cut all the no smoking, no drinking. But and I failed to mention this during the Raw recap, but Seth did come out in a tag team match, and they've got this. So Seth loses. Mm-hmm. Drew McIntyre, being the gentleman that he is like, he's basically after the match very nice to him, mm-hmm. like, you're a great person, like, I forgive you, like this kind of whole like almost cathartic like experience of like Drew saying all these nice things to Seth. Yeah. And with Seth's gimmick being the Messiah, he thinks he has to like cure and save everybody, and then like this is supposed to make him snap. So he comes out on Raw and he's just totally lethargic and not responsive. The whole entire tag team match.
Interesting.
He didn't even get tagged in. Like he was just out of it. And then he beats the guy to the point where he shoves his eye into the corner of the stairs.
Ew. Am I hearing that right?
Yes, on Raw. So then the guy has to go. Anyway, so they've got this angle now where he's kind of snapped from the Messiah. Where I'm not sure where they're going to go with it. He's kind of crazy.
That sucks for you. You love the Messiah.
I know. Too bad.
Did you get a shirt?
No.
Maybe it's on sale now, so maybe you can get the shirt.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I still should have got that Swiss Superman shirt or whatever.
No,
that one.
There's some good shirts out there. Yeah, classic shirts.
If they get that Swiss Superman or whatever shirt, I'm so gonna get it. I have to say it like that too.
I know, it cracks me up.
It's so funny. Okay, and then we have the Money in the Bank ladder matches. Yep. I think one of them was like a cinematic one, right?
The entire thing.
Oh, the entire thing. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so they tried something, and look, I commend WWE for trying, right? Ever since WrestleMania, like they've been doing these cinematic type matches. We saw it with the Graveyard match. We saw it with the Funhouse match. Now we see it with Money in the Bank. This was actually an intergender-ish match.
Really? That's cool.
They had the women and the men fighting at the same time.
Was there only one briefcase? Or
there was two.
Okay.
And so it was like a gauntlet. You had to fight your way through the everyone. Okay, so the rating, I think, on whatever recap I saw was like a rated C. Okay. Like A, B, C, D, like C being like, it was just okay. But I was entertained, to be honest.
I kind of want to see it now.
Yeah, you should have, if anything, watch that match. They had to go through this gauntlet, which was basically them fighting through the performance center. So you like see highlights where like Asuka jumping off of like the second story where the elevator was onto like all the women that were on the first floor.
Dude, that's so cool.
Then you see Daniel Bryan and Baron Corbin go into Vince's office and like are like realized they had like were fighting into his office, and then they were like, oh, sorry, Vince, and they leave.
That's
so it's
so
like
great.
Really cheesy stuff. You see, I think it's Lacey Evans in like the conference room and Stephanie McMahon's in there. So there's just like random things like where Otis is like hitting somebody with like food from the like cafeteria.
That's so fun. I want to see this now. It sounds like a comedy.
Yeah. I mean, they tried. It was just so silly and like just over the top. And then so you had to fight your way all the way to the rooftop of the performance center, which was set up really cool because outside you had the ring, you had all the ladders, and then you had two Money in the Bank briefcases up there. And so we mentioned the winner of the women's earlier, which was Asuka, because with Raw and Becky Lynch relinquishing the title, we knew Asuka won that case. But our boy Otis, baby.
I know. She texted me like a gif of Otis. I know. I don't know why, but he's great.
I all of a sudden, like, this guy's on my radar.
Yeah.
When Heavy Machinery came out, I'm like, I love Heavy Machinery. I don't know why. Like,
but Otis.
Hilarious. Then Otis stood out. Then he got in the Mandy Rose relationship. It's just been kind of on this trajectory for me personally of like, this guy's awesome. And so he had a chance to climb the ladder. And I think you and I off podcast talked about, can he even make it up the ladder because he weighs so much. And he stepped on the ladder and the steps started to sink down.
Shut up.
So it was like, I was watching it like, he's not going to win. Because even if he like knocked everybody out, he couldn't get up the ladder.
Oh my goodness.
But circumstances be what they are. Like AJ Styles was up there with Baron Corbin, and I'm thinking, oh God, one of these guys is going to win, and they're both so boring now. And then the case slips out of Styles' hands and falls into Otis's hands.
Up. That's how they did it?
Yes.
That's so great. That's so great.
It's so good. Otis's face when he catches it is like in utter shock, and he's like so ecstatic, like running around with the case. It was awesome.
I am definitely going to watch that match tonight.
I cannot wait till SmackDown now just to see kind of the overflow of what happens. Has Otis been celebrating this whole week? Like, he's got the case now. He's got a chance. This is awesome.
I'm definitely going to go home. That's the first thing I'm going to do is watch that.
Do you think now, like just prediction wise, now that you've seen, Asuka kind of played out on its own, what do you think is going to become of Otis with the case now?
I mean, he's gonna have to cash in. I don't know if he's gonna cash in with Drew McIntyre.
Yeah,
is it Drew McIntyre right there?
Yes,
it is right for that.
That's gonna be tough.
It's confusing because he's on the SmackDown show, but then he's gonna go for the Raw.
Which a little swerve on that, and I don't know if you saw that bit of news that came out, but Vince is talking about he wants the crossover. So he's some of the Raw and SmackDown wrestlers are now allowed to cross over into each other's shows where they've been keeping it very tight and separate.
I think they might have to right now, right? With a limited amount of people on the roster. So
there is a chance. There's a chance that Otis could go. I don't know that he would beat Drew McIntyre. It might not be the best person to challenge with the Money in the Bank.
Right.
But there is now an open door opportunity for him to go from SmackDown to Raw.
I would not be against him having the WWE Championship.
It'd be cool.
It'd be just so different. So different. Because every single WWE champion has had a very similar character.
Yeah.
Like whether they may look different, one might be overweight, one might be bigger, stronger. They all had that I'm a badass, whatever. But Otis has just got that gullible, lovable, like a teddy. Imagine your favorite teddy bear winning is what it would feel like.
I know. And he's a strong dude.
Yeah.
Clearly he couldn't make it up the ladder because he's
Which
big.
is hilarious. He couldn't make it up the ladder. Oh my God.
He's strong. He can lift guy. So it's not like he's just this fat slug of a guy. He's a really powerful dude. So he could put up some good matches against people.
It just makes me think of, so Ann and I play a lot of Animal Crossing. It makes me think of if a slingshot and you hit the present and it comes down. That's kind of what it makes me think of when the present comes down and then Otis is like, what?
I know. It was a big shocker. I can't wait for you to watch it. I almost want to watch you watch the match just for that part.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That was a really good description of the main match.
Oh, thanks.
And we're talking about Asuka jumping off the elevator and then the food fight and all that stuff. That's great.
There's some good moments. I think they definitely tried with that match. That's why I think just in general, Money in the Bank was a win for me. There's a lot of different things that happened. There's a lot of progression of storyline. People who I didn't think were going to win Money in the Bank, but I wanted to win, ended up winning. So it's just overall, it was good as a fan to watch that pay-per-view.
Well, also, before we close out, there was a news. AJ Styles, he posted something a little funny on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to share it. He wrote, after his match, obviously, with Money in the Bank, no one has heard from Alistair or Rey Mysterio. Baron Corbin is running from the law.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan is still rearranging furniture in the office. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. What? So, okay. And I was cheated out of Money in the Bank by Otis. A travesty.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's so good.
It's
so good. I'm down for the cheese. That's great.
Yeah. I'm always down for cheese. I love cheese. Cheese Louise. All right, guys. Well, that wraps up this week's session of Ann and Kaori's Wrestling Podcast. Thanks again for joining us. Let us know what you thought. Go ahead and comment wherever you can. In the meantime, you can follow me at KAORIOUS. You can follow two of us at Team Amasian. And Ann, where can people follow you?
You can follow me at Ann Campia.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll catch you guys sooner next week, probably. Thanks again. I'll see you again.
Bye.
Bye.